I'll tell you what I know, soulmates. I know that that story that you write, that story that you create, it heals and affirms somebody. That art that you make, it gets somebody out of a tough situation. It makes somebody feel better. That business that you started, guess what? You're employing somebody. You're giving somebody their very first shot, their very first foot in the door. That's power. That's power. And don't let anybody diminish the value that you bring to a space. Well, thank you for having me here. I'm so honored to be here, and it's such a blessing. I want to give a special shout out first and foremost to Yamoria and Tamika for putting on this great event. Demonstrating once again the power of black women to just do everything at a high level, right? I mean, this is amazing. So shout out to them. Give them one more round of applause, please. So, like she said, I'm, my name is Michael J. Payton. The screen says it too. I'm a filmmaker, entrepreneur, born and raised in Oakland, California. There we go, some Oakland in the house. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Town business. She sounds best known for directing and producing the Murder Inc. story on BET, the 5-part documentary series about the legendary hip-hop record label Murder Inc. and its founder, Irv Gotti. They were instrumental in everybody that we loved growing up, from Jay-Z to DMX, Ja Rule, Ashanti. They played a big role in their career, so it was a huge blessing to be able to do that. Just a little background information for you. So I actually did a YouTube video about Murder Inc. when I was at NYU in grad school. I actually did a YouTube unauthorized. I could have got sued. and it went a little viral, and Irv Gotti saw it and liked it and asked me to actually direct his real documentary. So what an amazing opportunity I had to actually accomplish that. It opened doors for me I could only imagine, right? I was able to work with some of the best and some of the biggest names in the business right out the gate. So I was extremely blessed to have the opportunity. It was a huge turning point in my life, in my career. And, it gave me an incredible platform to meet a bunch of folks and do stuff that, like I said, I dreamed of. But, with that platform, with that opportunity comes a lot of responsibility, right? It really made me realize that the power and the power we have as creatives to really make a difference in somebody else's life, right? The influence that we have that we can wield through our work as creatives. And, just a quick story. So while I was filming that show, right, I had the incredible opportunity to interview this guy. Maybe y'all heard of him. His name is Jay-Z. Up-and-coming artist. Pretty good. He's going to be pretty good. And, it was extraordinary because, one, first of all, that guy doesn't do a lot of interviews, so that was extremely special just in itself. But two, I was actually a recipient of his scholarship. So Jay-Z and his mom, Gloria Carter, they have this scholarship foundation called the Sean Carter Scholarship Foundation. And it actually helped me all through my undergrad when I was at SF State. And so I told him when I got the opportunity to meet him, I told him that, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And when he heard that, he pulled out his phone and he actually put me on FaceTime with his mom. And, I was sitting there fighting back tears, sitting there talking to in my opinion, y'all, the greatest artist, the greatest rapper of all time. I already hear some boos coming. I know we in L.A. But no, I mean, standing there, I really realized, the power of someone else's creativity transcended and touched my life. And I know they touched so many other people's lives. And it made me think, well, how am I using this opportunity, this platform that I have to touch other people's lives as well? It's something I think about all the time, because I think we have an enormous opportunity right now as creatives, as people in these creative fields, to actually really make an impact, to really do something with our work, to really, speak to people in a way that other people can't speak, that politicians can't speak, that professionals and these folks, all these so-called experts can't do. The theme of today, I know, is all about creativity and wellness, right? And so much can be said about wellness and self-care, and that's important, right? But what's also important is the wellness of the collective, right? The wellness of the world that we live in, the wellness of the communities that we live in and that we serve. And, in a world right now that in so many ways is so unwell, we as creators hold the power and the responsibility to heal it. As I know y'all know, we're living in some really scary times. I know some of y'all saying amen. We living in some real scary times right now. Books are being banned. Rights are being threatened. History is being erased. And divisions are widening, and people are going more and more into their silos. There's a vacuum of leadership just across the board. I mean, you can look in Washington, D.C., all the way here to Hollywood, and there's just no leadership. There's still large equality gaps. People of color, women, and especially those in creative fields, aren't getting paid what they deserve. I know y'all feel me, right? And even though y'all work just as hard, if not harder than everybody else. But it's in these times that precisely that creativity and ingenuity is actually needed more than ever. Now, we all know through things like fashion, TV, film, music, Black Twitter, Shade Room. I know y'all know about the Shade Room. Some of y'all in the Shade Room right now. I see y'all. Y'all know that we have the power to move, commerce and move culture through our creativity and influence, millions of people. But in the face of the enormous challenges that we face today, it's important that we also use our creativity to do more than just entertain, to do more than just have fun and affirm our own biases and beliefs. Our art, our voices, our imaginations, they hold the power to move the needle on a number of issues. And these are things that I try to model in my own career. So for example, we all know about the inherently unfair, racist criminal justice system that's impacted my family, as I know probably some folks out here have been impacted by it. But for me and my company, C-Suite Music, we don't just stand by and just talk about it. We try to do something about it. We partner with another one of Jay-Z's organizations, the Reform Alliance, and we're creating content that's aimed at shedding light on the need for reform in parole and probation laws. Yes, there you go, one person. Recognizing the need for young people and students of color to access STEM, we collaborated with Microsoft Code. And together we developed a video training guide based on Wakanda Forever that taught kids the basic tenets of coding. A very small step in the goal of helping to close the digital divide. And like so many of you, I know we all care about safety and protecting our community from harm. So I've actually been working with the San Francisco Police Department on a documentary that's focused on, educating and enlightening police officers about the traumas that our communities have faced in hopes of, hopefully mitigating more unjust killings of unarmed black people. So, the fancy TV stuff, the Murder Inc. stuff and all that, that's fun and it's glitzy and sometimes it pays, sometimes it doesn't. But the primary purpose of my work is service. It's about using whatever skill set and talents that God has given me to the fullest intention. In every project, I try to channel my creativity into some kind of impact. I don't care how small it is. So, we as creatives, we have to recognize and stay mindful of the power that we have, that you have, to move the needle. And listen, I know it's easy to get caught up in the hoopla of our industries and our businesses and trying to stay relevant and be seen and trying to fit in. Get caught up in our own selfish ambitions and our egos. And ego is important. I know a lot of y'all in this room got egos. I got an ego too. But it's so easy to get distracted. There's so much noise that sometimes we forget our why, right? But listen, I'm here to tell you that the world needs you. The world needs us. We can't just sit back passively and wait for somebody else to come up and do the job. We actually have to do the work and do it together. And I know somebody out there thinking, well, I'm just a filmmaker. I'm just a creative. I'm just a whatever you do. What can I really do, right? Well, if you're a filmmaker, how can you use your skills as a storyteller to help some local organizations tell stories about people in your community and bring resources to those communities? If you're a singer or a rapper or an actor, how can you use your voice to bring attention to some important cause that you care about? If you're in tech, how can you use your skills to help educate kids in the hood about STEM and close that digital divide? If you're a business owner or someone in a position to make executive decisions, how can you ensure that you're actually employing and hiring more minorities, and especially women? And by the way, as an entrepreneur, business owner myself, we all got to step it up. We got to step it up. It's really on us to create safe and healthy working environments that women get paid equally, treated equally with equal opportunity, and given the same opportunities that everyone else gets, and treated with dignity and respect, right? One person here feels that. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes. So listen, I'll end with this because I know y'all tired. I'll take it back to that moment when I met Jay-Z. I was telling y'all about, and that euphoric feeling of seeing life, come full circle. Recognizing how much of a blessing it is for us to have the power of creativity. And again, I asked the question, how am I using my power? How are you using your power? How are we using our collective power? Listen, we talk about healing. That's the theme of today, right? And our world is sick. Our world is sick. And it's so much that needs to be healed. There's so much. We need healing from division, from discrimination, from poverty, hatred, violence, war. So I challenge all of us to look beyond just the confines of our industries or the confines of our individual ambitions, and see our creativity, see our work, not just as a career, not just as an occupation, but as a mission, as advocacy. And I know so many of you in here are actually doing that work. using your platforms to heal and bring folks together. And I just want to take a minute and just affirm that, what you're doing matters. What you're doing has purpose and has meaning. The workshops that you create to fellowship, educate, and guide others on how to navigate a tough business. That book that you're writing that's sharing your journey, inspiring others to find their own truth. That app that you're developing that's going to build community around a common cause. That documentary that you're working on that's going to bring attention to an important matter that you care about. That's your why. That's your power. And listen, I know, folks be in your ear telling you that you can't do it or why you doing this? Stay in your lane. You ain't got the answer this way. What do you know, right? Well, I'll tell you what I know, soulmates. I know that story that you write, that story that you create, it heals and affirms somebody. That art that you make, it gets somebody out of a tough situation. It makes somebody feel better. That business that you started, guess what? You're employing somebody. You're giving somebody their very first shot, their very first foot in the door. That's power. That's power. And don't let anybody diminish the value that you bring to a space. Back and say, remember, your creativity is not just an occupation. It's not just a job. It's a calling. It's a calling for equity. It's a calling for inclusion. It's a calling for a better world. It's a calling to create a world that a child can look up and not just see the stars in the sky, but they can see the stars within themselves and knowing that they have the actual power to reach those stars. So I'll leave here tonight. I swear I'm done. Be reminded that creativity is the most profound gift that you can give humanity. Your work, your art, your very essence has the power to illuminate the darkest spaces, has the power to mend the most broken spirits, and then heal the deepest wounds and divides. Listen, y'all, like, we all saying soulmates. We soulmates here tonight, right? We're not just soulmates because we share in this space together, this beautiful event that Yamoria and Tamika put on, right? We're soulmates. We're soulmates in the shared journey towards a world remade in the image that we want to see of our highest hopes and our highest aspirations. So here's the creativity. Here's the creating. Not just for the sake of art itself, not just for the sake of fame and fortune, and which we all want some fame and fortune, especially the fortune, but for the sake of a world that awaits the healing touch of our collective creativity. Thank you all.